You know, I want to cover this one before I forget about it. I get a lot of tips. I wasn't able to go through every single email that I got over the weekend, and today I got down to about the last 20 over on my MySpace, went through my Facebook as well. I just printed up this message that somebody sent me who's working outside of Camp Shelby, who's asking the question, is this a brand new civilian camp? And if you could bring up the pictures that he sent me, Jaron, they're the photo bucket pictures. They're from a distance, but there are a couple pictures where you can see at least the facility. And, you know, I just want to read what he said. I mean, I can't confirm or deny this. Over to the left, the first 3 or 4 on the top, you can kind of see the facility right there. And I know that you got all those cool little zoom techniques, Jaron, so if we could put those up on the screen. There we go. As I read this, recently I did a job outside of Camp Shelby, south of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We were pouring ANC, cutting a concrete slab at the Air Force Little Landing Strip right outside the base. We passed a sign that read, no cameras or video beyond this point, which I could not take a pic of because there was a guard Humvee with a 50 cal riding by, and turned a corner on a road that had been closed to public traffic. What do we see sprawled out before us? A brand spanking new detention facility. Brand new concrete walls, freshly poured and placed, brand new tents, brand new FEMA-type trailers, brand new porta-johns, brand new basketball goals, and 8 brand new, not a scratch on them, guard towers. And there's one of the towers right there on the screen. This facility may have some other function as it does resemble some of the quick temporary bases in the Middle East that soldiers put up. I am not saying that this is some sort of FEMA camp, but it is fishy. The walls were only about 15 to 20 feet high, and there was no razor wire suggesting it was not for dangerous or violent criminals. There was more than one entrance and exit, and I cannot say there was any special means security surrounding them. There is a couple of curiosities, however. It was not within the main gates of the base. If you knew what you were doing, you could drive right up to it. The road it was on was not at all well kept, but it looked like an abandoned rural road. Camp Shelby is a training facility, but there are plenty of barracks and military housings for new recruits. There were several Humvees also parked there with full gun turrets. My coworker, who is ex-military and not particularly in the know, said, and I quote, it looks like one of them darn civilian camps you keep harping about, Joseph. So, again, these are the pics. I don't think we're going to end up doing a story on Infowars about this until we, get confirmation on what it is. But send me the pictures, send me the email. Definitely worth checking out and talking about. I want to get into some tech news. We talked about yesterday what nanotechnology really is, these micro robots that really mimic, small bacteria and other organisms. And they're so small. For instance, the one that we covered yesterday was a sperm-like nanotechnology device with a corkscrew built so it could dive bomb, basically, bacteria and get in there. And it was, I believe, 1/100th the size of a single sperm. I mean, that's how tiny these things get. And I just wanted to read a couple of these new drones. Reconnaissance robots to the rescue. Let's see. An Adena company sells miniature robots to police and the military and let them see dangers before facing them. These are little reconnaissance robots. They're very, very tiny. It's basically a camera with wheels. And, it just shows you how far we're coming along. At first glance, the Recon Scout IR looks like a small dumbbell. But even at a mere 1.25 pounds, this robot does some heavy lifting. Why don't you scroll down, because you can barely, in that picture, on the bottom right-hand side, that is the little robot they're talking about, that little black blur there. If you scroll down, there's an actual picture of it, Jaron. Built by Adena-based Recon Robots. There it is right there. The robot transmits video images of dangerous environments before police and troops enter them. It is used by police SWAT teams to defuse violent situations and the military to assess hostile situations from a safe distance. Last year, Burnsville police officers used a scout to locate a person who was armed, suicidal, threatening officers, and barricaded in a condominium complex. And this thing is tiny, 1.2 pounds. You're not going to notice that. It's about 1/5 the size of the little drones that you see going around in Star Wars. You know which ones I'm talking about? The one that Chewbacca's like, and it runs away. We're at the point where we have smaller robots than that being used by the police. I just want people to be aware of it. We are in a technocracy. Things are getting more advanced. In fact, we're going to be reporting on lasers tonight. That's right, laser beams. It's not just for kids anymore, folks. Where is this laser beam story? Yes, Laser Energetics launches Dazer laser non-lethal laser weapon. This is out of New Jersey. Laser Energetics, developer of strategic lasers for applications in industry, science, medicine, homeland security, and the military, launched its Dazer laser light fighting technologies, non-lethal laser weapons to fight enemies and threats. Laser Energetics had a primary focus on its Alexandrite laser technology. Robert D. Battis, founder and CEO of Laser Energetics, said the weapon is humanitarian and will save the lives of both the enforcer and the threat at long ranges. No longer will the enforcer have to risk their lives to bring a threat in closer to them or in order to engage them, which puts the enforcer's life at risk. See, they've got the heat weapons. What this does is it attacks your eyes. You're blinded. You can't see. All of a sudden you start getting dizzy and nauseated and you become immobilized. And if you don't think that the military is going to do this to insurrections, if there's some kind of a civil war in this country or a revolution or, an armed resistance, you're out of your mind. Of course they're going to use this technology. This is what it's for. The two models being introduced are the Dazer Laser Defender and the Dazer Laser Guardian. These non-lethal weapons have the ability to control threats at the range of 1 meter to, get this, 2,400 meters. 2,400 meters. Just so people know, because I know there's a lot of dumb people out there, and I'm not saying my audience, but maybe you're sending this to a friend and they're like, a meter? Well, that's 3 feet. Yeah, it is 3 feet. It's a yard. So 100 yards is a football field. 24 football fields is the range of this thing. 24. Do you get it? I mean, you don't even have to know they're coming to get you for them to hit. I mean, you're literally standing there and you're like, whoa, whoa. And you're tossing cookies. You can't hold anything. You have no idea what's going on. And then the nice men in black uniforms come and pick you up and bring you to the nice little camp. Oh, don't worry. There's a bed there and some food. It's a great place to go. So, I mean, the technology, we are seeing, yesterday, folks, we reported on drones in the Middle East that they're taking small GPS devices, little microchips, the ones the size of a grain of rice. The guy's randomly throwing them everywhere. Families' homes, women's homes, children's homes, no big deal. And they are being guided into oblivion. In other words, they're shooting missiles at these things and it's happening. They put them in cars. They'll follow the cars. Oh, Jason, you're making this up. It can't be that bad. It can't be that technocratic, can it? Oh, it can and it is. That's the reality. And you know what? One of the bigger stories, I don't know how much Jones actually covered it. I know he talked about it. But the new Xbox controller. I've always said that they're going to make you want the chip. Your children are going to be begging for it as the next controller. You're going to be the controller. Well, you are the controller now. It's chip-free, but it may be even better for them for a surveillance of a home. And how so? Well, the way this thing works is it has a camera. And that camera can do scans of you, can figure out items, transmits. It's constantly hooked up to the internet. And it's going to be in most families' homes in their living room. So they will literally be able to spy on you in your living room through a third-party Xbox device. Oh, I love you, Microsoft. And we're going to play the clips, and I'm going to be commenting while I do so. And Steven Spielberg, for some reason, was on the Xbox site talking about how great this was. So, go to Xbox.com. Go check it out right now. I was, jaw on the floor, couldn't believe that this was what I think it's called Project Natal. And there's a story about it over at the Infowarrior.com right now if you want to check it out. All right, let's jump to some callers. Then we'll play some clips on the other side, do a little bit more of a news blitz. Like I said, top of the second hour, we've got Manny and Luke coming on from wearechange.org, New York. Let's go to Jack in Georgia. Jack, you're on the line.
Jason, I talked to you, a couple of months ago. I asked you about Naomi Wolf and Michael Moore, and you had Naomi Wolf on.
Yes.
I think you ought to have Naomi Wolf on again and put her feet to the fire, see what she thinks about.
I've been trying. I've actually been on her Facebook page because, when she came on my show, she said she had just launched a Facebook. It's a fan Facebook, so there's limited interactions. Basically, I can post on her wall, but it doesn't show up. She actually has to get back to me or approve the post for other people to view it. And as soon as they had this City Year program where they were doing these military type, commercials, I immediately went and I commented on her thing and I asked